welcome to my couch. So right now we're going to get into Put a Ring on It, episode 2 of season 1. So we start off with Ashley saying that she is totally okay with Hollywood going on a date because that's what he wanted to do after he had proposed to her in the first place. Petty. But he says the reason he did that was because he was trying to push her away and he didn't feel like he was measuring up to her. But, you know, she's clearly deeply affected by the back and forth he did after he proposed to her. Like, it's fucked up. So now Ulysses doesn't have to go on a date because of the situation they're going through with Mimi's father, and it would just be counterproductive to even attempt to do that. None of them can focus on that situation. So, like I said, you know, you can see that they're leaning towards coming out of the show. It was just clear. And unfortunate, but I really didn't think that they were ready for this process anyway. There you go. So, Hollywood is excited about going on this date, but, you know, he's nervous about, it's weird to him after being with Ashley for 8-9 years, that he's going on a date with somebody. So he has that mixed feelings of anxiety. He hasn't dated in years, and he doesn't know if he still has it since he thinks he's got it. The doctor for Mimi's father has a conversation on the phone with Mimi and her sister, and he tells them if they do not do a DNR and do not resuscitate for her father, they will be forced to do CPR, which could lead to her father having broken ribs and being injured in other ways, and it would end up being more painful for him. And he really thinks that they should try to come together and do the DNR for his benefit, you know, because it becomes a point when you're just keeping somebody alive for yourself and not for them. Like, if they're suffering, you should, you know, help them in their passing. And so the doctor comes off the phone, she's talking to her sister, and she's like, I really feel like we need to do this. And, you know, she breaks down and what have you. Then she goes to talk to Ulysses, bruh. And he just is struggling with the whole thing. And she's trying to talk to him. He's pulling away. He ends up leaving. He says he needs to go get a drink. And the doctor had just said to them that you guys need to really come together and anchor in each other, and he's doing the exact opposite. So I could see these are the kind of things that he would do that would be frustrating for her, especially in this time. It's like, you need to show that you're actually being fully supportive. So he walks out to get air. So then Dr. Nicole meets with Shay and Mike, and you can see how things turn around from one week to the next, because last week I like Mike, okay? This week I don't like Shay, okay? Right, so, you know, he says he feels like people have always left him, so he's really detached. And that Shay had ghosted him twice. Like, the first time it was a couple weeks into the relationship, and then she did it again. And so why would she not switch up on him again at any moment? You know, he's trying to protect himself from what she has done to him. So that's a surprise to her, because it's never come up before. He's never said that before. And he wants her to take accountability for her actions. But she doesn't seem to be taking him very serious. And she just wants to know when he can forgive her so that they can move forward. Like, everything's about Shay and how Shay feels. And there's no accountability for her past actions. Because now she's ready. They should move forward. So anyway, Hollywood goes on a date with Brencia. She meets him at the restaurant. He asks her if she's crazy, like, why is she single? Is she crazy? And has the audacity to ask her if she's slash tire, like, oh, you're probably one of them girls who slash tires or call a man like crazy if you don't answer the phone. It's like, what? Just because somebody's single doesn't mean they're doing that crazy shit. Like, he's so ghetto, okay? Like, he has just such a limited way of seeing things, and I find it, okay. Yeah. So anyway, Brencia lets him know that she loves sex, which is an interesting thing to tell a man on the first date. But she needs to be married because she wants to have a lot of sex. Like, I get it. That's how I feel. You want to be able to go in on your man hard, but in the safety of a committed relationship and a union. So I think that's what she was really trying to say. And they get their food, and then they pray together over the food, which was so a little bit cheesy to me. It just seemed so much like a presentation. He seemed to that seemed to make him happy that she was religious in that sense. And I'm saying murderers pray, by the way, but I'm just saying. So then Riley goes on a date with Mike. They meet up. They talk about not rushing to getting married and whatnot. And it just seemed like a very dry conversation. And yeah, so there's not really much to say about it. But then Shay was talking about how, you know, she was afraid that she would lose Mike on this date. I'm like, this girl is just like heavily insecure, and I can see what his reservations are because it sounds a lot like his ex-girlfriend that he was talking about that he was engaged to. So Hollywood gets home. He's talking to Ashley about his date, hoping that she'd be jealous. Ooh, baby. She says that she's saddened, that she's glad that he had a good time on his date and that she's okay with it. And so, you know, that hit him in his chest. Like, he wasn't feeling that answer at all. He wants her to feel some type of way like how he did. And she realizes that there's an area in the relationship where she's detached. So that's concerning for her. So then after that, Doctor goes to meet with Mimi and Ulysses. And she tells them that they need to go be with her sister, Mimi's sister, and decide in peace, really take their time and figure out what they're going to do when it comes to her father. And that they really need, she really emphasizes on how much they really need to hold on to each other and anchor to each other. And yeah, that's the end of the show for them. So, like I said, see, I saw it was coming. So now we go back to group. And there's only the two couples. So everyone's like, what's going on? She tells them that the journey for Mimi and Ulysses is discontinued, and they're going to be moving forward without them. So Hollywood says that he was nervous about the date and it still felt like cheating. He likes that she was spiritual and that she was very sexual, and he feels like Ashley isn't as sexual anymore. And she says if it's not if things aren't right with them, that it's just off-putting for her. And so, you know, they're just talking about how, you know, she felt disconnected about him going on the date. And she says that Dr. Nicole says that they unplug to protect themselves, and it doesn't mean that the wire is dead. You know, you could just reconnect it. It's just a protective mechanism. So that's like hopeful. It's not like things are done. Things can be revived. And I love the way she says things. Like, she has these beautiful ways of putting things together, putting words together. So Mike says he enjoyed his date, and he enjoyed her energy and her body. And Shay said that she had to reassure herself that he wasn't going to leave her for the date. And, you know, he was gone a long time. She thought he was going to spend the night out and whatnot. And highly insecure. Just was like, ooh, very cringed by her this episode. And he said that whenever they argue, that she always asks him if he's going to leave her. And it's like, I wasn't even thinking that. It's like, you can't even have an argument without you going there. How do you expect to get married to somebody when you're in a relationship and you're always talking about breaking up? So once you get married, you're going to keep talking about divorce? No wonder he doesn't want to marry you. I don't think he should. Matter of fact, from the 2 times that you ghosted him, I'd have said, fuck you, bitch. But he's better than me. All right, so Doc says, if they are trying to co-create, you want to stay as connected as possible. Because it just started to seem like she stopped being honest and was trying to put him in a situation where he didn't want to be honest with her. And so the doctor was just trying to tell her, like, no, you have to stay honest and listen to his truth. Because regardless because she was doing that same thing Hollywood was doing last week, like, move your hand off of me and all that. And it's like, well, regardless of whether you want to hear it or not, the date went how it went. So he had a good time, regardless of if you want to hear about it or not. So you might as well hear about it so you can figure out how to move forward. It's very, to me, it just feels so dangerous. Like, I would never do this. I would never, like, my man, no, we're going to have problems. Nope, not happening. So, yeah. So Hollywood decides that he doesn't want to go on a second date with the young lady he went out with because she don't have a booty. Okay, he likes a nice booty, so that was an issue for him. And Mike decides not to go on another date with his girl, Riley, because there was no spark, which was clear to see. And he says, yeah, if you can't have an initial spark, then you're most likely not going to have one later. And that to me makes common sense. This guy just, I'm like, he was my least favorite, and now he's becoming my favorite, which is so interesting. So the doc had asked them to start working on some deep issues that they had in their relationship. So Mike says emotion has never been a part of his life. His parents never said, I love you. And Shay's ghosting makes him feel like he should keep the wall up. And she needs to take responsibility so that he can feel safe. And she just is like very like when is this thing gonna be over? It's kind of like when a man cheats and then a woman still like feels like heartbroken by that and keeps bringing it up, and it's like, well, when is she gonna be over it? Like, you did this to him, so when do you get to say he should not feel a way about it anymore? So the doctor says, if you step on my toe, who gets to say when my foot stops hurting? And she says, you, but after a year and the doc says it's okay, isn't that enough? Like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, who is she? How are you gonna say, Mike? So Mike says he's learned that Shay is dismissive, and she had created an environment where he doesn't want to go deep with her. And that says everything to me. He doesn't even want to go deep with you, sis. That's how self-absorbed you are. I don't like that. So Ashley says that she is troubled by, the wedding being calling off and Hollywood's contradictory behavior. And he says he's tired of waiting for her to be ready to get married, and that sets her off because she says that she was in that position. She was tired of waiting for him to be ready, and now it's his turn to wait for her. Is it my turn? All right, I'm not gonna do that. And she has to protect herself from his inconsistencies. So he says that we can leave right now. I'm about that life. And the doctor says, are you? Because it's about the vision of where you saw your life going. And he said, I saw it with her. And doctor says, he should manage his words because they are life. You better give them teas, baby. And when you say saw, that's past tense. And she's looking for safety. That's what they're both looking for. Mike's looking for safety. Shay's looking for safety. Ashley's looking for safety. And so they're all looking for safety, honestly, in their own ways. But some of them are not taking responsibility in how they've made their partner feel unsafe in their relationship. And so the doctor says, speaking in anger pushes you backwards. So, he talks about, well, first of all, she says, and this is another one, a man protects the temperature in his house. Woo! So if you're over there, turn it up, turn it down, turn it up, turn it down, and you're like, why is it hot in here? It's like, you are creating this mess. You are supposed to protect the temperature. Oh my God, I love that. Ooh, a man, ooh, that's what I want me. I want me a man that protects the temperature in my house. Yes, that's sexy. And so he says that he could do his part. So then here goes Ashley off at the mouth, and Dr. Nicole says that she needs to manage her mouth too, and they need a starting point to try to start something different. So anyway, doctor tells them that there's going to be a new couple joining them, and we see glimpses of them, but we never actually meet them. So that will be next episode moving forward, and that's just where we ended. So let me know down below. Let me know down below what you guys thought of this week's episode. I feel like it has this energy of being a little slow, the show, but there's still so many jewels in it. So I'm loving watching this. All right, guys, see you next time.